Okay, guys, let's get to know our vocabulary for this week's lesson, lesson 22. These are all words that you're going to need to understand to be able to understand our story for the week. So let's get to know the words. Remember, we use these short passages to practice trying to figure out the word on our own using context clues. And context clues are words around the unknown word that helps you guess the word meaning, especially when you're encountering a new word or some word you've never heard before or you may not know. So let's practice. The first word is migrate. These butterflies fly far away when they migrate or move from place to place. Now remember, we have talked about this little word here a lot this year. When you see that keyword or, as a reader, you should know, hey, this is my context clue here. This key word helps me know that migrate and move from place to place, those are synonyms because of the word or. Think about it in the sentence. These butterflies fly far away when they migrate or move from place to place. So as a reader, I understand that or is helping me understand migrate and move from place to place. Those are synonyms. They have the same meaning. So that helps me as a reader know migrate means to move from place to place. Our actual definition on our list today is to move to another place. Number 2, survival. This bluebird flies south for the winter for its survival or to stay alive. Again, there's that key word telling me I'm about to get a synonym clue. So if it flies south for the winter for its survival or to stay alive, we know stay alive and survival are synonyms. So survival means something like staying alive. Continuing to live is the definition you'll see on your list today. Okay, now we see the word dramatic. Salmon swimming upstream to lay eggs is a dramatic or an exciting sight. Keyword or telling me that exciting and dramatic are synonyms. So dramatic must mean something like exciting. Our actual definition is exactly that context clue, exciting. So if something's dramatic, that means it's exciting. Landscape. The landscape changes in spring. Grass turns green and flowers bloom. So we don't have or anywhere in our context clues there. We really just have to look for clues. The landscape changes in spring. Grass turns green and the flowers bloom. So when you think about what happens in the spring, grass turns green, flowers bloom. And that's talking about the landscape. So what is the landscape? Where do we see the grass turning green and the flowers blooming? Well, we see that in the land around us. So the landscape is like the area around you. In the actual definition, think of it as scenery. The scenery of the area around you. What do you see when you look around, especially out in nature? Landscape is the area around you, the scenery around you. Okay? Accidents. When moose cross busy roads to find food, accidents can happen. So you have to think a little bit about background knowledge here. If a moose is crossing a busy road, okay, what could happen? Something bad could happen, right? Car crashes, the moose getting hurt by the vehicles passing by. So accidents would mean something like something bad happening. Unexpected injury. So think about the moose. You may get unexpected injury when he's crossing a busy road. Solid. It is very hard for animals to find food under snow and solid ice. Okay, so solid here, if you're thinking about having to find food under the snow and solid ice, if I think about how this word's being used here and kind of thinking about my background knowledge, solid ice means firm and hard. So it would be hard for animals to find food under the solid ice if solid means firm and hard. Chilly. Polar bears have thick fur to keep them warm in cold, chilly weather. Okay, here we kind of get some other examples thrown in the mix. When it says cold, comma, chilly, that's helping us understand, hey, cold and chilly, they mean the same thing. Just another description of the weather. cold, comma, chilly weather. So chilly and cold are very similar in meaning here, okay? Another clue that helps me in this passage, polar bears have thick fur to keep them warm in cold weather. So if they're trying to stay warm in the cold weather, cold, chilly weather, again, chilly would have a similar meaning to cold. Chilly means cold, just like we talked. We never looked back at solid, but solid means firm and hard. Okay, landscape, we've already done that one. Thunderous, I think thunderous is the only one we have not covered yet. Okay, thunderous. A herd of caribou make a very loud, thunderous sound as it runs. So again, look at that comma. The comma is telling me, oh, loud, comma, thunderous. So you're kind of giving me a series of examples here, descriptive words. So that should help me understand that loud and thunderous kind of have a similar meaning. And the fact that we're dealing with sound, okay, so put all that together and use that brain of yours to really think through this. A herd of caribou make a very loud, thunderous sound as it runs. Well, if you have any background knowledge at all about animals that run in large groups, when they all start running together, what sound does it make? It makes a loud sound. So we can kind of guess here that thunderous means something like a very loud sound. Very loud is our actual definition we're going to look at this week. Alright, did we somehow skip frightening? We did. So let's just look at the definition on our list. Frightening, scary, and plenty. If I have plenty of food, that means I have enough food. So this is your vocabulary list for the week. Make sure you're working on these words in class when you have the opportunity. Make sure you work on them at home. Be prepared for our test on Friday. And more importantly, be able to understand these words in our story this week. Okay, it's important to know the vocabulary so we can understand what we read. So today, to work on our words in class, you guys are going to be completing Foursquare. Okay, so let's do one example together, and then you guys are going to complete the Foursquare activity for your other words. Okay, so here's what Foursquare looks like. It's called Foursquare because it's made out of 4 squares. Actually, it looks more like a rectangle on this page. But in the first box, you simply type the word. We're going to do migrate. So, migrate. That's all you do in the first box. Type your vocabulary word. In the next box, the definition. What is the definition of migrate? Our definition we're learning is move to another place. Okay, so migrate means move to another place. Okay, what would a synonym or antonym be for migrate? If migrate means to move, an antonym would be to stay. Okay, animals that migrate are moving to other places, so the opposite of that would be animals that stay in the same area all the time. Okay, a picture. Okay, I'm going to think back to my background knowledge. Remember, our picture should be anything that helps us connect to the meaning of the word. So in my background, I know that there's a type of butterfly called a monarch. The monarch butterflies are orange and black. They have this beautiful orange and black pattern. And monarch butterflies, they migrate when the seasons change to go to places with warmer climates or warmer weather. Okay, so for my picture, I'm drawing a monarch, and I'm going to even label it. I think that's how that is spelled. Monarch butterflies. To help me remember, because every fall around my house, and most of you guys have probably seen this too, those orange black butterflies that just come through in droves in the fall. They're migrating. They're moving to a different place to survive the winter. And last, you're just going to use your word in a sentence. How can I use migrate in a sentence? Again, I'm going to think back to that picture in my background knowledge. And I'm going to put monarch butterflies migrate to warmer for the winter, meaning they move. They move to warmer climates for the winter. And again, when I'm done writing my sentence, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to circle my vocabulary word to make sure I've actually used it. Sometimes we get so distracted and caught up in writing the sentence and we leave out the vocabulary word. So make sure you go back and double check your sentence when you're finished, that you've used your word, you started with capital letters, you end with punctuation. Okay, your sentences are grammatically correct. Make sure they make sense when you read them. You might read over it again slowly and make sure it sounds right and makes sense. And you'll move on to your next word. Alright, you guys will complete Foursquare for your words today. Again, take advantage. Use this class time wisely to get to know these words.